What are we looking for? Dogs.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Bird. You know, we back on Bird's Eye View with it. Like always, appreciate the love and support. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe. Start what you're doing. Smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. Hop in the comment section, comment whatever you want. Of course, I'm dropping daily bangers day by day. You know, we got news of the day coming out of Colorado. And we're going to jump right into it, dog. So, of course, we back with another recap with this Colorado football program. As always, shout out Well Off Media, Reach the People Media, for providing us phenomenal footage each and every day. Of course, we are gearing up for our matchup with the Cincinnati Bearcats this Saturday at Folsom Field, 8:15 Mountain Time. Of course, we're coming in 5-2. They're coming in 5-2 as well. The winner of this game here is still in strong contention for that Big 12 title game. The loser is pretty much done for sure. When you have two undefeated teams, of course, you got to stay within reach here, and it's going to take a big win for us to continue to move forward and have all our goals in front of us. And we're at home. Of course, you know, Folsom Field is going to be rocking for sure. Now, of course, I'm going to bring you guys the keys to victory video for this upcoming matchup. And I'll also highlight their impact players as well. But let's get into the keys to victory. For our offense, we got to continue to factor in the run. Of course, we rushed for 148 yards last game against Arizona. That was the most we rushed for all season. Our running backs, we had 28 carries, so 28 design runs to our running backs. That was the most we had all season as well. Again, we got to continue the momentum running the football. I will say they pretty much send 3 and drop 8. That's just pretty much what they do for the most part. They run a 3-3-5 defense. They have the 3rd lowest blitz rate in the FBS. So they really don't blitz much. They really don't play much man. They play a lot of zones, a lot of, like I said, they got a really good defensive tackle. I will say they got a really, really good one. I'll get into him as well. But I mean, they want to prevent big plays with their defense. And they got some athletes that they expect to tackle in space. So they do some good things defensively. Of course, it'll be a different look. It's going to be a look that we haven't seen all year. But there is some opportunities there. We got to continue to target LeJohntay. Now, we targeted him 10 times last week. He had 8 catches for 127 yards. He is now tied for 2nd in the Big 12 with 7 touchdowns. Now, I will say Cincinnati is vulnerable to covering the slot. In that Texas Tech game, Texas Tech was able to do some things in the slot. Now, of course, they have a really good slot receiver, but we also have one as well, too, in LeJohntay. And he has the ability to get open. He's elite at running routes and getting in and out of his break. So it's going to be interesting to see how they defend LeJohntay Wester, but I think this could be another big game for him as well. We got to continue to keep Shedeur Sanders up right now. Obviously, we only allowed 1 sack last week going up against that Arizona defensive line, a defensive line that's still the #1 pass rushing unit. They have the #1 pass rushing grade in the Big 12, according to PFF. Now, I will say Cincinnati, they do rank 2nd in that category at 70 flat. So, of course, we're going to go up against another formidable opponent. But, again, they mainly only rush 3. So, it's 3 against 5. So, we really can't allow them to get home with 3. Another key to victory is controlling the time of possession. We got to control the pace of this game. I will say Cincinnati, they have a balanced ball control offense. I mean, this is super balanced. They move the chains a lot in this offense. They like to control the clock. Not a bunch of passes, 20-plus yards down the field. Of course, if we can take that part of their game away as far as like controlling the time possession, if we can take that away from them and win the time possession, I feel like that'll help us a lot. This team is very similar to Kansas State. Some of the things that they like to do on offense is very similar. So, of course, we got to make sure that we take care of business and control time of possession. We also can't allow Dante Corleone to wreak havoc. I mean, he is likely going to be the toughest test that Hank Zielinskis will face all season. He's one of the best defensive tackles in the country. He's going to pretty much play that nose. And like I said, he's one of the best in the country. He's been on multiple mock draft boards to go in the first round. I've seen on multiple mock, got him going in the first round. So it's going to be a tough matchup for sure. Likely we'll have to help Hank there. Likely going to have to double for sure. But, we're going to have to just get the job done. And like I said, at the end of the day, they mainly only rush 3. So we got 5 guys. They rushing 3. We got to take care of business, but he does have the ability to change games. Let's switch over to the defensive side of the football. It's going to be important that we get to the ball and make tackles. Like I said, they're not a type of offense where they're going to throw the ball. They're going to try to drive the ball down the field. Like I said, they like to move the chains. They like to get their guys open in space and force the defense to make tackles. So we're going to definitely have to get to the football and make sure when we get to the football that we definitely make tackles and get the guys to the ground. Of course, they're going to run it more than they throw it, but it's very balanced. This season so far, they have 244 rushing attempts, and they've thrown it 236 times. So there's only an 8-play difference when it comes to run plays versus pass. They're extremely balanced. We just got to make sure we make plays. We got to create a turnover or two. We need an extra possession in a game like this, especially if we want to dominate in this game. If we want a dominant performance, something we haven't had at home yet, if we want that, we definitely need extra possessions in this type of ball game. No costly penalties, right? We got to make sure there's no self-inflicted wounds here. We got to make sure there's no unsportsmanlike conduct. We can't have any roughing the passers, face masks, illegal hands, stuff that's going to really hurt us and extend drives for them. We just can't have that. Of course, we got to continue to get after the quarterback now. Obviously, we lead the Big 12 in sacks. We pressured Noah Fafita last week on 52% of his dropbacks. So we need a similar situation, all right? We had 7 sacks last week. So if it's not the 7 number, if we can get to like 4, 5, I believe that's a good number for us. But over half of Noah Fafita's dropbacks last week, he was under pressure. And if we can pressure Cincy's quarterback as well, get him to move off his spot, he's a lot less accurate as well too. So let's try to continue that momentum of getting after the quarterback. We got to control the quarterback run. Sorsby, their quarterback, is 3rd on their team in rushing. He leads their team in rushing touchdowns with 6, and he also has the 2nd most carries on the team as well with 51. So we know that's kind of been our Achilles heel a little bit this season, the quarterback run. So we got to make sure that we're a lot better and that we tackle the football when the quarterback is running. Let's switch over to the special teams, right? I mentioned last week when I did this Arizona recap that we had 7 kickoffs and we did not have a touchback. So hopefully we can better that number this week. At least get 1, right? 1 would just better, 1 would be an improvement for sure. If we're not able to get any touchbacks, then of course we have to tackle well on kickoff. If we're gonna not be able to kick the ball out of the end zone, then we're gonna have to tackle well on kickoff. We're gonna have to limit the explosive plays on kickoff return. So special teams, just be special, like Coach Prime always says, and we'll be able to take care of it. Let's switch over to the impact players with this Cincinnati Bearcat team. And of course, we're going to start with the quarterback, Brendan Sorsby, 6'3", 230, redshirt sophomore out of Denton, Texas, Indiana transfer. In 2023, 7 starts at Indiana. He threw for 1,587 yards, 15 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He had a 5-touchdown game against Illinois. He also had a 3-touchdown game against Penn State. Transferred to Cincinnati in 2024. He's 156 of 232 for 1,928 yards, 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He averaged 275 yards per game. Again, he has 51 carries as well, 96 yards, but he does have 6 touchdowns. He's a threat to run the football in the red zone for sure. Let's switch over to their running backs, and they got a couple good ones. Running back, let's start with Corey Kiner. He's 5'9", 210, senior out of Cincinnati, Ohio, LSU transfer in 2021 at LSU as a true freshman. He has 79 carries for 324 yards and 2 touchdowns. Transferred to Cincinnati in 2022. He played in 10 games with the Bearcats, had 81 carries, 362 yards, 5 touchdowns. In 2023, last season, 192 carries, 1,047 yards, 5 touchdowns. He averaged 5.5 yards per carry last season. He had 6 100-yard games in 2023. Of course, in 2024, he's pretty much picking right back up where he left off. He has 106 carries, which leads the team. He has 598 yards. That also leads the team. And he has 2 touchdowns as well. Very physical running back. Reminds me of the DJ Getting kid a little bit out of Kansas State, which with their physicality. He breaks a lot of tackles, man. So that's why we're going to definitely have to tackle well. He has 3 100-yard games already this season. So we have to make sure that we definitely control him. They have another running back, Evan Pryor. That is 5'10", 200 pounds, senior out of Cornelius, North Carolina, Ohio State transfer. Spent 3 years in Columbus, had 40 carries, 147 yards, 1 touchdown. Of course, you can't really look at those numbers. I mean, they just roll out NFL running backs at Ohio State. He was dealing with Travion Henderson. I mean, it was a lot going on there. Of course, Dylan Hayden was there as well, too. It was tough to get carries at Ohio State. In 2024, this season has 31 carries, 307 yards, 4 touchdowns. He leads all of their running backs with those 4 touchdowns. He's more of a speedy guy than Kiner. Pryor has home run hitting ability. One cut and he can hit his head on the goalpost. He's off to the races for sure. So we got to make sure we definitely are tackling the football well, because like I said, they got two good backs and they're going to run it. I mean, they're going to run it just as much as they're going to throw it. Now, they got another one. He's young, Manny Covey. He's a redshirt freshman, 5'10", $190. He's out of Stark, Florida. Now, he's played in all 7 games. 3 of those games, he didn't record any statistics, but he's played in all 7. He has 17 carries, 62 yards. He done a lot of his damage in the receiving game. He has 8 receptions for 119 yards, 2 touchdowns. He does have a 71-yard receiving touchdown as well. Speedy, really, really speedy young guy. Let's switch over to the wide receivers. They got a good one. Xavier Henderson, 6'3", 200-pound senior out of Miami, Florida transfer. In 2022 at Florida, he led the Gators in catches with 38. He had 410 yards, 2 touchdowns. In 35 games in Gainesville, he had 73 catches, 835 yards, 5 touchdowns. That was over a span of 2020 to 2022. In 2023 last season, he had 994 all-purpose yards. They used him in the return game as well. He had 782 yards receiving on 58 catches, 3 touchdowns. He had 3 100-yard games last season. He is a deep ball threat, and he does have high point ability, being at 6'3". Now, in 2024, he leads the team in basically every receiving category. 42 catches, 541 yards, 4 touchdowns, averages 77.3 yards per game, averages 12.9 yards per catch. Again, leads in all those categories. They don't use him on the return game like they did last year. He doesn't have any returns. Now, they do have a solid tight end, Joe Royer, 6'5", 255, redshirt junior out of Cincinnati, Ohio State transfer. He was in Columbus from 2021 to 2023. He played in 14 games, only had 4 catches. Now, in 2024, I mean, he's pretty much second on the team in every receiving category. 32 catches, 387 yards, 2 touchdowns, averages 55 yards per game. Coming out of high school, he was a 4-star recruit. He was a top 10 player coming out of the state of Ohio. He was one of the best players in that state. Let's switch over to the defensive guys. And again, it's only right that we start with Dante Corleone. I mean, 6'1", 320, redshirt junior out of Cincinnati, Ohio, nicknamed the Godfather. I mean, it fits him. 2022 as a redshirt freshman, he was PFF top-rated defensive player in the country. He was 3rd team All-American. He had 45 tackles, 5.5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, 2 forced fumbles. In 2023, 39 tackles, 6.5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble. He was 2nd team All-Big 12. He had the Big 12's 3rd highest defensive grade according to PFF. In 2024, he's picking right back up where he left off. 21 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, 4 quarterback hurries. Again, I've seen multiple mocks with him going in the 1st round. He's one of the best defensive tackles in the country. Let's keep it rolling. Linebacker Jarrett Barlett, 6'2", 240, redshirt senior out of Miami, Florida, West Virginia transfer. He was with the Mountaineers from 19 to 2023, played in 50 games, 134 tackles, 21 tackles for loss. In 2023, he had 49 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks. This season, he's rolling this season. 37 tackles, leads the team. 7 tackles for loss, that also leads the team. He has 4.5 sacks, that leads the team. And then he has 2 PBUs and 2 quarterback hurries as well. They got a good safety, Antoine Peak Jr., 6'2", 210, redshirt sophomore out of Cincinnati, Ohio. They got a lot of Cincinnati kids. 2023, appeared in all 12 games, only had 17 tackles. Now, in 2024, he has blossomed. He has 37 tackles, which tied for 1st on the team. He has 1 tackle for loss. He also has a PBU. He has 4 forced fumbles, which leads the Big 12 conference. He's also tied for 1st in the nation with those 4 forced fumbles as well. We definitely got to make sure we're protecting the football when he's trying to make a play. They got another good linebacker, Jake Golday, 6'4", 240, junior out of Arlington, Tennessee, Central Arkansas transfer. In 2023 at Central Arkansas, he had a team high 84 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks. He had 4 double-digit tackle games at Central Arkansas. Right now in 2024, 35 tackles, which is 2nd on the team, 5 tackles for loss, that's also 2nd on the team, 1.5 sacks, 1 PBU, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery as well. They got a safety, another safety, Josh Minkins, 6'2", 200 pounds, redshirt senior out of Louisville, Kentucky. He's a Louisville transfer. 4 years with the Cardinals, 55 tackles, 3 PBUs, 1 interception. In 2024, this season, he has 27 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 2 interceptions. He also has 3 PBUs. He's tied for the team lead in passes defended. They also got number 97, Eric Phillips. He has 4.5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, and 5 quarterback hurries. He leads the team in that category. And then number 1, Jordan Young, has 18 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 5 PBUs. He leads the team in that category as well. Now, when it comes to the PFF numbers, I'm not going to lie, they grade off pretty well when it comes to PFF in the Big 12 Conference right now. If you look at our numbers side by side here, of course, when it comes to overall ranking, we're ranked 4th and they are 1st in the conference. Offense, we are 4th as well. They are 2nd. Passing, we are 1st. They are 3rd. And pass blocking, we are 13th. They are 9th. In receiving, we are 3rd. They are 2nd. And run and rushing, we are 11th. They are 6th. In run blocking, we are 10th. They are 8th. In defense, we're 5th. They are 1st. In run defense, we are 4th. They are 8th. In tackling, we are 5th. They are 7th. In pass rush, we are 5th. They are 2nd. And in coverage, we are 5th. And they are 2nd as well. So as you see, according to PFF, man, they grade out extremely well in a lot of different categories. I mean, they're top 2 in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories in the Big 12 Conference right now, according to PFF. They are top 2 in the conference, and the 7th one, they're 3rd. So they do some things. Well. They're a solid team. Now, of course, I'm gonna be honest with you. They don't have the athletes that we have, and if we play our game, we play our style of football, and we take care of business, we can definitely have a dominant performance for sure at home, without question. Of course, Arizona graded out better than us in a few categories, and we dominated them. They again, like I said, they had the number 1 pass rushing unit. They only had 1 sack. And of course, they had the number 3 pass protecting unit, and they gave up 7 sacks. So honestly, I mean, you can really throw the numbers out the window in a sense, but I mean, it's going to be a formidable opponent. I mean, they're coming in at 5-2. They can do some things well. Again, they got one of the best defensive tackles in the country. So for Hank, I mean, Hank can make some money in this game. In a sense, he can really get some good film against one of the top defensive tackles in the nation right now. Again, like I said, they are going to rush 3 and drop 8. That's just what they do. They don't play a lot of man. I doubt they will do it. Sometimes they'll show like a cover 1 look where they'll run man, where they'll play man, and then of course they'll blitz out of that. But I don't see them doing that because they don't have the athletes on the outside to cover our receivers one-on-one. They just don't. And I think they're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to drop 8. They're going to play zone. They want those short, the intermediate routes. They want those. They want you to try to complete and try to win games where you're completing passes 10, 12 yards down the field, that type of deal. They want their athletes to be able to tackle in space. That's the type of defense that they run. They don't blitz. They just don't blitz. They're going to allow your quarterback to pretty much stand back there and attempt to pick their defense apart and make plays and find holes in their zone. Like I said, they're prone to giving up some yardage in the slot. So, of course, this could be a game. LaJohntay Wester, Jimmy Horn Jr., of course, it's going to be a game where they can definitely make some money for sure. It's going to be interesting. Looks like Travis Hunter is back 100%. So we're going to see exactly what transpired there with that young man. But, of course, him being back at 100% is definitely going to be crucial. And I'm looking forward to our offense continuing to take steps moving forward, especially running the football. And this can definitely be a football game where we dominate. Now, our defense is going to definitely have to come to play as well, too. Like I said, they have an extremely balanced attack. They're going to run it just as much as they're going to throw it. They're going to have multiple backs that they're going to hand the ball off to. You may see 3, even 4 guys carry the rock for the Cincinnati Bearcat offense. Again, they got a pretty solid tight end, so it's going to be important that our safeties, our linebackers cover well. They got a solid wide receiver as well. That's 6'3" that can go up and get the football. So, again, these PFF numbers are pretty interesting, man. They pretty much lead us. They're pretty much technically better than us in every category, according to PFF, other than run defense. And passing. So we're ahead of them in 2 different categories, run defense and passing. But when you look at the overall, like I said, they're 1st overall right now in PFF, and we're 4th overall right now. So it's going to be a good matchup, dog. It's going to be a good matchup. Again, I'm looking forward to it, and we're going to see exactly what transpired. But not going to keep you long. Just want to bring you guys another phenomenal update. Please continue to like, comment, and subscribe. You know what time it is, dog. Bird's eye view, man.